I say howdy.
Say yo.
Welcome to the Big Book Bros. Oh my goodness, we on episode 19. Another lockdown, another time of trial. Obviously, I ain't been. Most people probably was messaging me. What's going on? I didn't have no previews, but this part of the Big Book Bros episode, we are episode 19. We just really just gonna be just chilling. See how everybody's doing. See what we doing over here on our end. Um, what you heard over there was a country Rican. You already know if you come on this channel, he got his dogs. So we're just chilling and talking. Because on my end, I'm about to set up some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which I'll show y'all right here. I got some Yu-Gi-Oh cards I'm about to set up. Put in my folder because I'm about to make some trips and get everything going. So, what you want to talk about today, boss?
Man. We were talking earlier and we was discussing how we really didn't read much. Again, I was reading Monster, uh volume 4 of the trade paperback, or Monstrous. And man, I decided to take a nap, set the alarm clock. Next thing I know, Mike was calling me, and it's 9. I was like, dang it, I was supposed to finish it before the episode. So I read another issue of it, and pretty much what it was talking about is Kippa, which was the little fox. It was talking about her background and
What's up, Zodiac
how
Kennels?
say what?
Zodiac Kennels. He said, "Hey, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off."
You good? I didn't even hear you. But yeah. So, um, yeah, and then it started picking up where the third trade paperback left off, and I got like a couple issues into a couple pages into that issue, and then I was like, man, I'm so tired. I was like, I'm just gonna take me a little hour nap. Man, that hour nap turned into 3 hour nap. I done messed up, Michael, because I ain't about to go to bed now till like 2-3 in the morning because
God,
I'm
Lord.
tired now.
Oh, Lord.
But what I did read, what I was telling Michael about, what I did read, I don't know if any of y'all familiar with Warhammer. Warhammer 40K. It's I think, what do you call it? It's
Strategy, turn based. What you talking
I
about?
was trying to think of, it's a company. It's a franchise owned by Games Workshop. So they make video games, they make board games, they make card games, they make tabletop games. Um, and a lot of people don't know they're the largest tabletop game in the world. They're based off. They were created in the United Kingdom, in England. Uh, and they've also made movies. They're about to start a TV show. I have to check it out. I believe it comes out this year. So I've been into it for several years now. I had some. I had a couple armies, and they ended up getting stolen. Um. So anyway, I went ahead and got me an army. It's got its fans and it's got its haters. A lot of people was like, dude, it's stupid expensive. Uh,
Man, whatever.
why are you
Hey,
paying so much money for plastic? Go ahead. What was you saying?
no, hey, whatever hobby that people get into is never going to be easy or cheap. We can already tell you that. We
Yeah,
can already tell you that.
that's what the company was saying and defending. They were, hey, like, look, man, a lot of fishermen, man, they pay like 12, 15, 20 grand for one boat, and then they only go out and fish once a month, if they,
Hmm.
you know. Now, I had a buddy. He was a professional fisherman, but his boat wasn't even expensive. He had a little old boat, and I mean, it was still like 12 grand. He had a little old boat. It had a sensor. It had a radar system on it, so we could actually see the fish. It was pretty dope.
Underneath, yeah.
It was a small little boat. Like, it was crazy. The little system was hooked up. If I'm not mistaken, it was hooked up to the engine. So like, he would just look at the engine and it would tell you how far down the fish were and how big they were. But anyways, so yeah, that's exactly what they were saying. So I mean, to be honest, you could play a game with like $80 if you buy, the little core set. But if you go on eBay, you can buy, parts for the army for way cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So, but I bought a couple here and there, and I got an army. I was telling Michael earlier, there's like 28 plus armies. It's like chess, but on a table. And the table is 4 foot by 6 foot. That's the size of the table that you play on. And a lot of areas have one. I have literally one, right down the street, and then I have another one like 5 miles from me, and called Hard Knocks. I don't know if you've been there, but you've been there before a long time ago.
I seen it. I've been there.
They moved to E-Town like 2 years ago, and then they ended up moving close to the Rad Club. So I went down there and got me some paints and stuff like that to go ahead and start painting. And I got my stuff online because over there he was charging full price for the stuff, and I was like, dang, I was like, I can get it online for almost half the price. Well, no, not half the price, but like $30 to $40 cheaper. So I got my stuff online, but I got the paints and stuff from him. But anyway, so yeah, there's a whole lot of different factions of the military that you can choose from. They got aliens. If people play StarCraft, you'll be familiar. Pretty much the Space Marines are like the Space Marines in StarCraft. Then you got the Tyranids. They're like Zerg. And then you got the which ones are like the freaking Protoss? I want to say like the you got a couple different ones. You got like the you got the Necrons, which are like the Protoss, and then also like the Drukhari and stuff, and they're like elves. So you got elves, you got orcs, you got dwarves, you got ogres. They're all part of like the human army, which is like Imperial Administratum or something like that is the human. And then the Space Marines are like souped up humans, right? Then with the Space Marines, that's the most popular army because there's like 15 of them, The one that I picked, they're called Custodes, Adeptus Custodes. And they're like they're the elite Space Marines. So my army is more like quality over quantity. So it's a very small army because you have a few elite soldiers that have a lot of life, do a lot of damage. And when I was saying it was like chess, it's because each army has different soldiers. You have a HQ, which is your leaders, your warlords. Then you got elites, you got fast attacks, you got flyers, you got tanks, you got dreadnoughts, which are like souped up battle tech type fighters. And I think that covers everything, and then you got your regular units, you know what I mean? So with this army, you only got tanks, dreadnoughts. You don't have the only flyer you have is flyer on jet bikes. And that's what's pretty dope. I like that about the military. And I just like that they're bigger than the average Space Marine. They're just like the American Bully. They're way more bulkier. The Space Marines look unreal. They're just like super big. If you look at the humans, man, the humans are like, what's the camera? The humans are like, but so big, and then the Space Marines are like that. But the Adeptus Custodes, the other Space Marines, they might be this skinny, where the Adeptus Custodes is like that. You know what I mean? So they're just like really, really wide looking little guys. And I'm trying to find a page right here. Let me. Here's the one of the jet bikes that they had, which I got 6 of them. I got 6 jet bikes, and then and the thing about them, they're one of the fastest. They're the fastest units in the army. They move an automatic 20 inches, and then each, like I said, it's kind of like RPG because each unit moves so much, they attack so much, they have so much life. You have to get this book that I had to or you can get it for free online. You don't have to get the book, but I mean the book was $30, so I was like, bump it. I want to get the book. But right here it shows you the difference in the military. Let me see if I can change the brightness right quick.
Good.
That it? Oh, it's the mute button. Wrong button. Where's the day up? Nope, that ain't it. I was messing with it earlier. Oh, there we go. Let me see if this will work. It might not work. I might have to go turn the light on. Let me go turn the light on because the freaking glare is hitting it.
You good?
It might not have worked, but let me see if this works. I don't know. It might be the heat lamp, but there you can see the tank right there. Let me move this over. Which I don't have any tanks. I didn't get any tanks. Dang it, I can't see my. All right, there's the tank. Then you got the dreadnought right there next to him. You know,
yeah, on the far left. Yeah, the number what? 12.
The dreadnought. Yep, you're right. I do have one. I got one dreadnought, and I got units. I got 2 units of the regular guys each, and then I got 2 units. My favorite unit is the where they at? Is hey, where's that unit? They must. Oh, okay, here they go. They look a lot alike. I ain't gonna lie to you. There's very small differences in a lot of these units. But my favorite unit is number 9, which is right here. But they're Terminators, and in this game, in the Space Marine Terminators, they're the ones that are like the toughest of the Space Marines. They have usually, as far as like your regular units, your regular soldiers, they're like the strongest of your regular soldiers. Because if you're talking about like elites and warlords, those are like characters. Those are single characters. So
Right.
What's dope about this, you can have a single character dreadnought. You can have a single character Terminator. You can have a single character, a shield captain. That's a certain group, a unit, because your main unit, your main soldiers is in this army. You have 4 to choose from, and if you configure the miniature a different way, each unit can be a different unit. So there's 4 main units, but they can be done 2 different ways. So there's actually 8 units in this army. That's like your regular pawns, like in chess. You got your tanks; those are maybe like the bishops. You got your dreadnoughts; those are like your rooks. Then you got your main characters like your king and your queen. You got your jet bikes. My bad. Freaking Savage was laying on one of her pups just now. So and then so anyways, the reason why the Terminators are my favorite in this army is because they have each character you got to read their data sheets, because each character comes with certain abilities, kind of like chess. You got your pawn; they can move forward 1, or in their first move they can move 2. When they attack, they only attack diagonally. Bishops, they only attack diagonally. You got your castle. I think that's what it is, ain't it? Your castle. Rook can only attack straight or sideways. They can't go diagonally. So you got to read their sheets, which they look like this. It's like an RPG. Can you see that? I mean, I'm sure you can't read it, but you can kind of see her
gray and white. Yeah, some numbers. Shield capacity.
It tells you, their movement, their wounds, their attacks, their leadership. The saves. Save is once you get attacked and you get wounded. In order for you to save that wound so it doesn't hit you, you got to roll a dice, and that's how the game works for the most part. On most things, you got to roll dice. Every now and then, certain characters they automatically hit, but that's very rare. That's like some of your elite soldiers or your character soldiers. So, that's how you build your army, because each soldier is worth a certain amount of points. And if you're going to play like a 2,000 point game, you have to make an army with 2,000 points. Another thing dope about it is you have to go farther down and in the book, and it'll let you. It's like an RPG because you can add ranged weapons, you can add melee weapons, and you have to pay extra points for that. You got to pay. Then you got other war gear and stuff like that that you can buy. And this particular game, it's like in the future where the world is at war at all times, and like it's a treacherous world, man. There's a lot of crazy different armies, a lot of crazy different aliens, you know. So it's pretty. I like the lore of it, you know. It's pretty dope. And like I said, that's what really got me into this army, because it just came out 2 years ago. It's been in the lore because this army is like the army that protects the emperor of mankind. Like they're his personal bodyguards. So there's very few of them. You have to fight something like 1,000 battles before you even have the opportunity to join the Custodes. So it's like the elite of the elites. But anyways, back to the Terminator. The reason why they're my favorite unit, they have a special ability that allows you to teleport them into the board game, so that you can have them on the sidelines and not on the board. And then when you want, you can teleport them in 9 inches away from the enemy. You know, and you have to roll a dice though. And out of 2 dice, you have to get 9 or 12 to make them attack the enemy. Yeah. You know, but you can shoot them before you attack them. So on your turn, you can drop them down 9 inches away. You can shoot the enemy you want to shoot. You know, they only have a 24-inch range to shoot. After you shoot with them, you can roll 2 dice, and then you can hopefully get 9, 10, 11, and 12 and roll them in. Also in this game, you get CP points that you get for your army. Say you roll a 6 and a 2. You only got an 8, so you can't make it. So what you can do is use the CP point and re-roll that 2, and hopefully get 3, 4, 5, or 6, so that you can actually get in and start fighting. That's another thing about the game. The rules, you get CP points. You know, usually there's only 6 rounds. You know, there's different ways to play. You know, you can play like missions. You can play like they call it, oh man, I forgot the name of it. It's like when you play like an automatic battle that they wrote into your book. That's another dope thing about the book. They'll write certain scenarios that happen in the history of this, and they'll say this army fought against this army, and you can get your army set up like the army in the book, and then your buddy can get the army that's the enemy, and it'll tell you what units to use, how to set them up, how to set up the terrain, and then you guys can kind of reenact that
battle war, yeah.
And then they have another way to play is like the tournament way with the rules, how they, you know, the tournament mode, and then you can just play to kill each other off the board. You know, so that's pretty dope too. There's multiple ways to play. Also in it, like, it's deep, but it's not that deep. You know, like I literally read the section probably in about an hour. You know, I didn't read the fluff part because the fluff is like 40 pages. I read the other part, and then like 10 of them is like ways that you can paint them, because you can paint them what they recommend, or you can just make it up. You know, make up your own faction. Yeah. Paint them whatever colors you want. So they have some dope colors, which I've seen some. They got some that are white and gold, and then their hair and some of their pauldrons and stuff are red. They call them the Solar Watch. Then you got some that are gold and white, but the reverse type of paint job, and they're like the Emissaries Imperatus. This particular faction reminds me of the Romans. They really do. Here they go right here. Some of the different paint jobs. Like I was telling you, got the white one all the way over here. Then you got the white one. That's the main group. You know, they're gold and red. I like them a lot. That's how I'm gonna paint my scheme up. Then you have the black and gold. That one's dope too, though. I ain't gonna lie. They look dope.
You got me. I'm trying to save my money, but I ain't gotta save my money too much. I might give me some some Gunplas and some model figures. Start painting
What,
those
which
up.
one? What were you saying? Some what?
Gunplas,
What is
Gunplas,
that?
Gundams, basically Gundam models, robot models, mecha models. They call them Gunplas. Yeah.
So is that what is that? Is that like a tabletop game too, or what?
Nah, that's not a tabletop game. It's just a hobby. People, they get those models, and then you can get different pieces, to kind of mix up your Gundam or your mecha, because it doesn't always have to be Gundams, but like the different mechs and stuff that you can swap pieces with, different color schemes, different stuff that you can add on to it. So that's something that's like a hobby that you can put on display. Because I was hearing about you painting them and stuff. I was like, man, I always want to get into that. But
Yeah, I only back in the day I had the Tyranids, man, in the barbershop, and then somebody stole them, and it was like, I was like, what the heck, bro? But anyways, so you have stratagems. Each army has their own stratagems, and you have to pay your CP points to use them. In this particular book, they have 5, 10, 15. They have 27 stratagems. And they do different things. You have to use them at certain times. It'll tell you all the little rules. It'll tell you how many CP points they cost, what they do. They also have abilities. In this, I was telling Michael, it's so crazy, bro, because you can mix and match your armies. Like you can have Adeptus Custodes. That's what I got, and then you can mix them with like Imperial Administratum. You can mix them with another faction in the Space Marines. Since the Adeptus Custodes came out, they only have like one book for one of the factions, because how I was showing you in here, amongst the Adeptus Custodes, you got the white ones, you got the black ones. So later on, once it gets really big, the white ones, they'll have like their own stratagems, they'll have their own abilities, and then the black ones will have different abilities. It's not that deep yet, but like with the Space Marines, you got the Blood Angels, you got the Ultramarines, you got the Iron Fists, you got the Dark Angels, and if you have to get each book for each little faction inside of the Space Marines, because technically, if I'm not mistaken, these guys are Space Marines too, but they're just the elite version of it. So, you'll have to get a different book, down the road. I'm sure, but like I said, they only been out for 2 years, but they'll start, building it up, and or they might just throw them all in the same book until it gets to the point where they need to make new books, because they do that with the orcs and different groups that have been around for a while and actually have different types of factions amongst their own, their own army. But you can mix and match. But the thing is, in this book, it tells you what you can mix and get these abilities. But if you mix with different armies, you can't get certain abilities.
It'll limit it. Yeah, it'll limit it. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
So what I love about this army, which I keep it straight, what they allow me to keep in the army, because you get one of the abilities is the Emperor's Chosen. And all right, say you first of all, I love this army so much. Okay, say I get 2 attacks, I get 2 hits on my soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I have to roll a dice. If I get 2 or more, I don't take that hit. Okay, say I get a 1, I take the hit. With this particular army, you get an invulnerable save, and depending on how you set your soldier up, you could get a 3+ invulnerable save, a 4+ invulnerable save. But if you keep this military unique to your what you can use, you get a 4+ invulnerable. Okay, so I rolled a 1, I took the hit. Now I get to roll another dice, and depending on how I have my guys set up, if I have them set up 3+ or 4+, and I roll another dice and I get a 3 again, I don't take the wound. But if I get a 2 or a 1, I actually take the wound. So it's very hard to hit these soldiers because of the invulnerable save. And they have a higher wound count. Your average Space Marine has 2 lives. The average soldier in this army has 4 life. And then it goes up 5, 7, 9. But the average unit has 5 or 4 wounds in this army. And you have some regular units that have 5. Another thing is, it's called Sworn Guardian. And what it does Oh, you get in this game. A lot of the games are built off of objectives. So you'll drop 3 objectives, 5 objectives, 6 objectives, and usually it's an even number because each player drops an objective a certain inches away from the board line, so I pick an objective, I drop it, of course, closer to me. You drop an objective closer to you, and then eventually you might have an objective here, an objective up here, another objective here, another objective up here, and you have to get on those objectives. But the thing is, with this army, since it has so little units, you might only have 2 units on an objective, right? Right. But the army you're playing, they have triple, quadruple the amount of people you have. So they might have 8 people on this objective, and all you have is 2. Well, so in the regular game, they would get the points because they have more units on the objective. But with this army, one of their abilities, it don't matter if they have 1 or 2, they automatically win over 8 or 6 because of their ability. Now, the thing is, there are other armies that have this ability as well. And how it works is whoever landed on it first, that's who gets the points. I don't know of any other armies that are like that, but in this book, that's what it says. So obviously, there's other armies out there that have this ability as well. But that's pretty dope because I never even knew armies had that ability. Like, I always knew of it, whoever has more units is the one who wins that objective. And you get points. So it don't matter, like I said, on a lot of these games, it doesn't matter how many people you kill. You have to play the game by the objectives. So whoever gets more points, literally, I've seen games where guys had 2 units and the other army had 15. And the guy who had 2 units won because he played the objectives. Whereas the other guy, yeah, he had more guys on the ground, but he took too long to get the points. Or he was getting whooped most of the game and he didn't get most of the points. And that's why he lost. So it puts more into it than just kill, which is cool too. But, if you're not playing the game the way it was designed, you can kill all you want and end up getting beat by 1 unit. You know what I'm saying? That's still left on the game. So that's pretty dope. You got the stratagems. You got your abilities those are the only 2 abilities that this army can get as long as they keep within their own faction. Now, what's dope is you also have to get the main rule book because this right here is just the rule book for my army. The main rule book has stratagems too that every army gets across the board. So you can use those stratagems as well. But you can only use a certain amount because everybody only has a certain amount of CP points. But what's dope is every army gets this. You can use 1 CP point and you can use a unit from an army that isn't in your faction but is aligned in the good, because there's good and bad. You know what I mean? And then I don't think there's neutral. I don't know, but I don't know everything. So there's good and bad. So if you're a good guy, you can align with other good guys and use that CP point. I don't know if you can use bad guys or not. I don't know, but I know this much. You can do whatever you want depending on who you're playing. If they allow that, if it's a cool little fun game and they allow it, they can allow it because I've seen games where they had Tyranids. I'm sorry, hold up. No. They had Chaos Warriors, which are like the bad Space Marines, and then they had Tau lined up. And Tau are like, they're good guys too, but they fight against other good guys. So it's crazy, bro. Like they don't get along with the other good guys. But anyways, they had the Tau and the Chaos Warriors, and they were fighting together against 2 other guys with their armies. So I mean, you can do whatever the freak you want to do, but that was pretty dope because I was like, oh shoot. So my point is this though: you can have your army and you can take another unit from another army and not lose your abilities because you use that 1 CP point to use another unit from another army that's not aligned with yours. So that was pretty dope. And then on top of that, they have relics. And with relics, you get an automatic 1
if you follow the rules, you have to pick a warlord in your army. Of course, your warlord is going to be one of your best soldiers, one of your elites, or one of your characters. So in here it tells you if you pick a certain character, you get to make your warlord, you get a free relic. So you automatically get one relic, and then you can pay command points to get one or two more relics. And they're just special abilities. Like one of my favorite is Eagle's Eye, and what it does is for one character, it gives them a +1 to their invulnerable. So you can go from a automatic 5 to an automatic 4, and then even take it down to a 3. Because if you had, like I said, you automatically get a 5+, and then if you keep your army lined up all amongst itself, you get a 4+, and now one of your main characters can even get a 3+ invulnerable save. And like I said, vulnerable save is every unit gets a save on certain attacks. Certain attacks, like I said, you automatically take the hits, but that's very rare. So all characters get a save. That's why I love this army, because they get a 2+ save. Okay, if the wound goes through, now you use your invulnerable save. And now with this army, everybody has 4, the way I set it up, and certain people can have 3. So I love that relic. And then there's another relic too that I really like that I ain't about to go over. And then the last thing is the warlord trait. Your warlord that you pick, he gets a trait. And my favorite trait is superior creation. Each time your warlord loses a wound roll, you get to roll a d6, which is a six-sided dice.
Yeah.
5+, he doesn't lose a wound. So in other words, you get your regular save, you get your invulnerable save, and now you get another save. You know what I mean? So it's like you got 3 saves to pass to not
stacking them up. Yeah.
And the main characters, their wounds are the highest. So you got one main character. He's a Trajan Valoris. He has 7 wounds. Then you got a shield captain. You can make him one of your warlords. He has 6 wounds. You have a shield captain in Terminator armor. He has 7 wounds. And then you have a shield captain on a jet bike, which is my second favorite unit. They have 7 wounds. So, and you can set that up too, where you can change it where they have extra wounds, they have extra attack. We already been talking about extra defense. You can set it up where their strength is higher. Your strength determines what your enemy needs to roll to hit you, and what you need to roll to hit them. And see, the way the game works is you roll the hit. Say you get 6 dice with hits. Now you have to roll those 6 dice and get wounds. So only pop 3 of those go through. And then once I get those wounds, that's when I roll my saves. Then I roll my invulnerable save. And then I roll my other save, on certain characters. So it's pretty dope. You're a lot of people, they read the book and they're like, man, my army is dope. But the thing is, each army is dope. Each army has different abilities. And what I like about these guys is they're tough, but they have average attack, and they have average melee attack, and they have average shooting. You got certain armies, they have great attack, great shooting, and not so good melee. Then you got some armies, they have great melee and not so great shooting. They're like average. Then you got some armies like mine that are average. You got some armies that are a little bit better in attacking and average in shooting and great in melee. So you got a little bit of stuff like that. You got certain armies that are like horde armies, so there's like a lot of them, and you got armies where there's some of them. Or you got a mix. You got some that have a lot of elites and a lot of horde. Like with this army right here, like I said, you have elite, but you can use imperial, and you can mix with the imperial administratum and not worry about losing your abilities. And that is the human side of the army. And the humans in this, they're weak as crap. They're a horde army. There's a whole lot of them. So you can build up a lot of little small soldier units with regular humans and build up that number count. So you can have 3 units of 20 little humans, and then bring in and have less elite soldiers, because it's going off of a point system. So you can mix and match to try to help out some of your weakness, because the problem is with this army, they take a lot of hits because they're so small. And they have a hard time getting board control because there's a fewer of them. So if you mix them with like a bigger little chunky units that are cheap, and they're gonna die like there's no tomorrow, because like the little humans, the average human has like a 6 save, so you have to roll a 6 in order to keep them alive. So they take a lot of damage, But like I said, with this army, the average soldier only gets 4 attacks, so you can only kill, and then you might just get 1 to go through. You know what I mean? So you might kill, you might kill two or 3 around. You might have good dice roll, you might have bad dice roll. So my point is, if they have 30 units in that unit, you might only do 10 damage. So now you can attack them again. It's their turn. They can attack you. So it's like a mud pit. They hold you up. You can't go nowhere now because you're in a fight with them. So they wear you down by their numbers. You know what I mean? So when you have more unit, you can kind of do little tricks like that where you're like, dang, that's a strong unit. I'm going to throw this little easy kill unit that has weak guys, but it's a large number to tar pit them, to slow them down while I'm over here moving my other stuff to get these objectives.
Yeah.
So there's different ways to play it, but that's what I like about it too, about this particular army, because I like the human side, because we relate, to the humans. So it's pretty dope, but that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And like I said, man, this book is like 80 pages, and half of it just talks about their history and armies that they fought, traitors that they had, heroes that they have, where they came from, how, what they do. So it's pretty dope. And then it also has history about the different groups. Like I told you, amongst the faction, you got the Solar Watch, so it gives a little page dedicated to them. And then you got this one that's called the Emissaries Imperatus, which is the gold and white ones. It gives a little page about their history. Then it has a page for each unit that talks about the history for each unit, which is right here. Let me change that page because that's kind of confusing. Here you got the Dreadnought. It talks about the Dreadnought. Then over here you got where it talks about the tank. So it just tells you history about that individual unit. So it's pretty deep, and it's been around, I want to say, since I think the first one came out like 1970, 78. I think it came out. So it's been around for a long time, and that's what I was saying. It was one of the biggest tabletop games. But my bad, Michael. I done started talking, man. I'm looking at the time. I've been talking for almost 40 minutes. I'm losing my voice already. But so I'm real passionate about it, man, because I really enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm about to say. Whenever I stop by and come back down to visit, that's another game I have to get into, because I just remember I was about to say Warframe, Warhammer. That's a crazy thing. But really on my end, like I said, a couple people was asking. I didn't put no preview, and that's to say we just talking card games. Basically, this is what we're doing, card games. So on my end, I've been putting some of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards with some card sleeves. I got some card sleeves and covers, and then I got me a whole binder. So right now, with my folder, I'm trying to organize them, but I ain't got no perfect. I ain't got nothing really perfect with my categories. I'm doing some selection, but a lot of people, especially you, they probably want to get into card games, or they want to get into stuff they want to know. Definitely look up online, but I'm not gonna ask some of the stuff for you. So like right now with Yu-Gi-Oh, they're on their 7th series, and really what they're doing is they're about to go back to some of the main rules, what they've been doing for the past 6 series, but I can't explain everything on Yu-Gi-Oh, because this whole episode will be over like 3 hours long, just like how we was talking about with that book. But I mean, your basic thing, especially depending on what style you want to play with Yu-Gi-Oh, is you and your opponent, like me and you, we can have an average. They usually have about 40 cards, 40 to 60 cards. Usually everybody just do 40 cards, and then you'll have that's going to be your main deck. And then on to the side, you can have like a side deck. Side deck is going to be 15 extra cards, but you don't use a side deck until after you do the full game. So a side deck is just for the side. But then you'll also have your extra deck, and that's going to have other cards like your fusions, your special summon monsters, synchro, which is basically like combination monsters, and it's just a whole lot of subcategories. But the main purpose of Yu-Gi-Oh is you want to defeat your opponents, you want to get their life points or LP to 0, and when we start the game, me and you, we start off with 8,000 life points. And the basic of the game is, you draw your cards, you do different strategies of how you set them up. So your strategy is really going to depend on what kind of cards you have. So like you're going to have your regular cards, you're going to have your flip summon, special summon. You can do a resurrections. There's different ways how to do these summons, how you do the monsters. But it's just a quick beat 'em up, turn-based to back and forth. But I know the biggest thing with Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh's been out since the 90s, the 1990s, and they got like over 10,000 cards. So this is a whole bunch of craziness. Yeah, I know it's a whole bunch of craziness. So when we first talked like 20 minutes ago, I got me a deck right here that whenever I come down, this is gonna be for you. It's a starter deck, something that's everything kind of organized. But these games that we talking about, these card games, we ain't gonna play it on the first night. We gonna have to play like on the second night because we just gotta read. That's all it is, just reading. So that's why I said like this deck right here, it ain't too much. Like I said, it's 40 cards. Technically, there's 39 cards because I have one card. It has like the white on it. Hold up. It has like a white on it, and this is a synchro card. So this card can only be really summoned with the required materials. And like I said, those is a list of how you do it. To get the materials, you just got to read your cards to see what it has. So like, let me pop it out. In your hand? Yeah. We start off. No. So when you start the game, really how we start the game, we do it. It's kind of funny. You can do it with a flip of a coin, or you do like rock paper scissors. So whoever wins, you can either choose. So if we play rock paper scissors right now and I beat you, I can choose to go first. And when I go first, we both start off with about 4 cards in your hand, but you'll start off with 5 because you'll do a draw phase. You draw a card from your main deck. And the way I do it is, once it's my draw phase, I draw 1 card, and then I have a main phase. So a main phase is where, I can summon a monster that has a star level between. Here, let me figure out. Here we go. I can special summon a monster. Its star level needs to be between 1 and 4. That's a normal summon. You can summon you can summon it face down. That's your face down defense position. You can summon it face up. That's gonna be like your attack position. And then you can also have it face up on the side as well as attack position. But the key thing is, if I go first, I can't attack you first. That's not how the way it will be, unless you have like a special card that has a card effect. But that's different stuff. But anyways, I could summon on your board or your mat. I gotta grab it. You can have up to 5 monsters zones. Those are your special zones where you put it. Everything's put there. And then, like I said, you can just normal summon your monster, and you start building up your strategy. You start getting your engines going. But if I go first, I can't attack you first because you have no monsters unless I got a FET or something special. And then you can summon trap cards, which is you can summon trapper spell cards. And I think you can have up to 4. I think it's 4 or 5. I got to look at the rules because I know they change it. There's different ways you can do the rules. There's one way where me and you can have 4,000 life points, but I'll show you the different types of cards. Your spell cards, they're going to have a green, and I got that glare. They're going to have like that green background around it. Let me back it up. It's going to have like a green on it. And then your trap is going to be purple. They're going to have like purple around it. But anyways, with those, they'll be in their special zones as well. They'll be in the back. So with trap and spell cards, especially with spell cards, there's different categories for them. There's some that are like equip spells where you can equip it to a monster. You can equip it to other people's. You can even equip it to your opponent, so you can do that, vice versa. You have field spells, which are going to be a special zone for those, and they're like a field effect. It's like dragon types get this special boost, fiend types get this special boost. You don't have to attack or defense or such and such. And so you can start, that's to say, you can start strategizing, setting up from your first turn. And then that's going to be your main phase, to really just draw out your cards and set stuff up, try to get your stuff ready. And then you'll do your end phase, where it's like, that's it, that's done. You're done. Because you can't, like I said, if I go first, I can't battle you because you ain't got no cards yet. You ain't done nothing. But since it's your turn, you're set, we go to your turn, again, you do a draw phase, you draw one card, you got 5 cards now. You can start setting up stuff and how you want to do it. You can have some monsters ready. So if you got a regular level 3-star monster that has like 16. This isn't regular. So like you have a regular monster that's 3 stars and it has 1,600 attack points. And then I have one monster on my side of the field is faced up and it has 1,000 attack points. Since your attack points is higher than mine, so you can attack my monsters and I get rid of it. It goes to my graveyard. I take the battle damage of the number difference. So 1,600, 1,600 versus a 1,000. The difference is 600. So I get 600 life points taken out of my 8,000. So now I'm down to like 7,400. And then, if you only have one monster, then you can do different strategies. You can activate a spell. You might have a spell card that lets you attack a second time, or it might get rid of a monster on my field. You just do what you need to do, and then you can end your turn. Or like I said, you have more than one monster summon on your field, on your zone that are face up. You can attack another time. So since I had no monsters, because you already got rid of my first one, you can summon another monster that might have 18. I keep saying 1,000. It has 1,800. That number can attack me directly. So I'm saying, so you just want to keep dwindling your opponent's life points to 0. But there's so many different ways of how you can win the game, because it doesn't always have to be attack strategy. Just like how you was talking about with your game, you can do certain effects where you can really be on the defensive side. You can put your monsters on the defense, put it on the side, and if the defense is higher than the attack, then you take that damage. So you might have a monster that has 3,000 defense. I'm gonna attack your monster, and its attack is only like 1,500. I take that 1,500 damage. That's the difference. I can do that. But if my attack is higher than the defense, then I destroy your card, but you take no damage just because it was in defense. So they kind of even it out how they do stuff. Like I said, you can also win by having 0 cards to draw. So if we keep playing so many turns and then I have 0 cards left, then you win the game. You win the first match. So
Michael, say you have 5 creatures down.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take the creature back up to put another creature down, or how does that work?
So that's called depending on how you do it. So there's different ways to do that. So I said you could normal summon a level 1 through 4 monsters. So once you start looking at these different monster cards, you're going to have monsters, their stars are going to be like 5 through, the max is 12. The max number of stars is 12. And the way you're going to do this is called tribute summon. So if you have a level 5 through, I think it's 5 through 6. Yeah, if you have a level 5 and 6 level star monsters, you contribute like 1 card on your field. You put it to your graveyard, and then you can special summon that 5 or level 6 monsters from your hand to your field. And, you're ready to, do the effects, attack, defense, whatever. Or you don't even have to attack at all. You can just go to your end phase. If it has 8, is it 5 through 6 or 5 through 7? I got to make, I don't want to be off. I think it's 5 through 6. But if you have a 7 through 12, depending on certain monsters, if it's 7 or up, you got to attribute 2 or 3 more cards to special summon that higher level monster. So yeah, you can always keep sacrificing your lower your lower cost, your 1 through 4s and how many you can have to get that higher cost monster. And then especially with the your monster card category, you can have 3 depending on your list, because there's a ban list too with Yu-Gi-Oh! So you can't have too many of the same types. You're gonna have an average of like 3 copies of the same card that you can summon. You can summon and have it on the field. Same thing with spells and traps. But like I said, with Yu-Gi-Oh, every couple of months there's a ban list, and there's also cards that are limited, so you can only use 2 of the same type of cards. You might even only can use 1, and then that's it. So it's a long list. Yeah, it's a long list of how you can get stuff done and organized. But it's crazy good, because I got back on Yu-Gi-Oh. I was a little kid. I bought all the cards and stuff, but I never really played it. Elementary school, I was here and there. Middle school, I dropped it, and even in high school, I was interested in it. But once I graduated and I got all my stuff saved up, it's an expensive hobby. Straight up, it's an expensive hobby, because it's every couple months, like almost once a month, you're gonna have like a new category, new type of selection, new rules. I can have one deck, but like I got 3 of my cards I need to take out because they've been limited, or I can't have the same type. So I gotta mess around how you get your stuff done. But I mean, straight up, like I said, when you do your deck list, you're gonna have an average of 40. Some people might have an average of 20 cards, just because you might have a short amount of cards, but you can get that rare combination. You know what I'm saying? You be like, I need this certain skill, I need this certain card. So instead of going through 40 and waiting, risk of me, risk of you doing damage, you setting up your planning strategy, I can limit my card selection, and then I'm like, okay, this is what I can do. This is how I'm get my your combos. This is how you do all your stuff. Because, with the Yu-Gi-Oh, it doesn't always have to be I attack once, you attack once, I attack, you defend. There's going to be stuff where if I attack you, you can activate a trap card, something that you had on your field and I didn't see it. But then it's like, okay, I take the full damage of my attack monster because I put attack on. Yeah. So that's how you can do it. And then you can start chaining stuff, then it can be like, okay, then I attacked you, but then that's it. I took damage. That's the end of my turn. Then you can have a card where it's like, hey, if your opponent took damage the last turn, you can attack twice. You can do this and that. You can special summon this and that. Same thing with your monster. If this monster's been destroyed and is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this monster. You can special summon this card. You can do this and that. Or you gotta banish. Banish is where it's off to the side. You can't use that card from the graveyard, because graveyard you can always resurrect. You can special summon. You can do what all you need. You contribute, which is you sacrifice your main card into it, into getting a card from your hand or your deck, depending on how the effects works, because it's all in the cards. Literally, you just got to read the effects. So that's what I said. It's going to be a long process how you do it. And that's just some of the basics. That's a little bit of basics here and there I was nitpicking. You can do fusion summon, where you can fuse 2 cards. Some of them don't have to be, some cards that have to have a certain name, the fusion summon. Some of them don't, depending on what class and type of cards. So that's another thing. There's so many different classes that you can do for that your card is. So you don't want to have everything jumbled. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to have like, 20 dinosaurs and then have like a hero, a fiend, magician, spell card, that you don't want all of that. You can have like the same type, a full dinosaur that can work with you, but then you might have half dinosaur and maybe half dragon and mix some stuff into it. You don't want to mix everything. And then this is going to be like, I can't do combos. You know what I'm saying? I got a special, you got to do this and that. But fusion summon you have to use this. Sometimes you can use a card to fusion, and then like I said, you can draw that fusion monster from your extra deck. Extra deck is usually going to be between 10 to 15 cards, and those are to your side. And all they are is just special fusion, not fusion, but special monsters that are that can be put to the field. So those are going to be like your synchros, which it has the white card on. Ritual, it has a light blue. I don't have any Ritual cards with me to show off. Fusion, I don't have any fusions. I think I do, but I gotta look through. They have another type of purple. XYZ has like a black around it. Then you got your links. They have another type of color and scheme. So there's different stuff. And then you got pendulum. So it's a whole list. We can keep going on and on and on how you do it. But that's what the beauty of technology now. I've been studying, and watching different YouTubers, Yu-Gi-Oh YouTubers, people on Twitter, and then your basic, comic book, your comic book store, your car stores.
How, not to put you off, but how was you introduced to Yu-Gi-Oh?
How was I introduced? Like I said, Yu-Gi-Oh came out during the 90s, so I remember, watching Yu-Gi-Oh on, the TV show, the anime. On the weekends when I wake up early, it's the Saturday morning cartoons. And then also I got an older brother. He's 4 years older than me. So I know he had some VCRs of Yu-Gi-Oh. So, we just watched, I was watching VCRs when he was watching them. And then I know Yu-Gi-Oh also went to the movie theaters back in the day. They used to have the movie, they had, movies of the anime in the movie theater. So I said, let me go watch it. And then I got cards and stuff, and that was it. I got really hooked on it as a little kid, but I never played it because, as I said, it was just a whole bunch of a rules, strategy. You know what I'm saying? It ain't too simple. Little kids, they can play Pokemon cards and be really good, but you ain't gonna throw a 6-year-old a whole bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards and they be like, all right, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to keep up, and then it's like, hey, every month something might change, or you got to change the list, you got to buy a new card, you got to get this new setup because the rules change. Like I said, this is the 7th. They're on their 7th series, but it's changed for so much. That's what I said. It used to be, your normal monster cards, your spell cards, your trap cards, and then your ritual summon, and then your fusion summon. That was like during the first series, the first and second series. Then the third series, they started doing synchro. Then they started adding more stuff like the pendulum. It's like a combinations card. You got your, like I said, your links, XYZ, and it's just it's everywhere. That's what I say. You got over 10,000 cards. You can do strategies. That's like, I don't know what. But I was introduced to that series, like I said, as a little kid, and that's what I said, just growing up. And I seen my older brother when he had the tapes, or if we went to the neighborhood, they had friends, they was figuring out. Same thing with the Beyblades. It's not, Beyblades ain't no card game, but those are the tops. Those are the tops. Got me. I was like, what is this? And kept it going. So that was something crazy. But I think the most complicated game. That's what I'm saying. The most complicated card games, or stuff that you can put your investment, is the Warhammer, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic and Gathering.
I played Magic the Gathering. I play Magic the Gathering. I play Pokemon too. I love Pokemon. I ain't gonna lie. But Pokemon is so simple, dude.
Little kids,
steps, and then you just got to do what the card says. Like I was playing with Remy, and Remy, with her first game, she beat me. It all came down to one coin flip, and I was like, "Oh God, please let her get the heads, because I was like, this is her first game. I don't want to beat her." And I told her, I said, "Remy, if you get ahead, you win the game." And she flipped it, and she was like, "What did I get?" Because she didn't even know. I was like, "You got heads," and she actually got it. But yeah. So I'm from listening to what you're saying about Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, it sounds.
Hold up. Here we go. Here's a fusion card. It looks like a trap card with that purple, but it has stars, and then it has it has a select materials to use it. I gotta use one monster. Yeah, I gotta use one monster, then another monster. But I gotta use a special you can't just combine. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. You can't combine two cards to some diffusion. You got to do steps. This card effects, but like I said, with card games,
So, Michael, with that, I'm guessing with that card right there, in order to use it, you have to sacrifice. You said 2 creatures.
Yeah. So But with fusions, the main difference between tribute and fusion, like I said, a tribute, you could sacrifice, almost any type of normal monster to tribute that monster, the monster that has more than 4 stars, depending. Some of them can't be tribute summon, some can't be normal summon or special summon. Special summon is just a certain condition that you got to do with other cards to get it going. So with fusions, like I said, with a fusion summon, you need to use a certain spell, or I don't think trap card, but you need to use a certain spell card to use that fusion, or an equip card, stuff to do. So that's what I say. It's so much. Like literally, I only got 15 minutes into it, and I barely hit like 10% of what the basics of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that's just so much stuff that I don't have all my stuff that I can really get into to show it off. But definitely, that's what I said. People who are asking, or even people, I want to get back on Yu-Gi-Oh! It was like, just go to your, your comic book store, or your card store, your figure stores, stuff they have events, your local nerd store, and then keep it going. Obviously right now we kind of have the restrictions, but the beauty of Yu-Gi-Oh, because I don't know about Warhammer and other games, the beauty with Yu-Gi-Oh, we can do all, I can do online. There's different websites and streaming apps, just different ways you can get yourself set up and keep it going. So that's just the beauty, keep it nice. But I already got, it's been an hour and I only got one deck set up that I can get for you when I said it, because it was I was reading through and I was organized. So I was listening to you because you kept talking about your objectives, your units and everything, and I was like your hordes, and I was like, yeah, that won't work. I was like, that won't work. So I'm listening. I was like, yeah. I was like, okay. And I was like, all right. I got like 40 cards, and I was like, I can get something for him whenever I come down to visit, and then we'll keep it going. That's what I said. When we're gonna have to do a live of us kind of showing up doing the battle, just showing up on the screen. But that's what I said. With these card games and stuff that we got, I was like, heck, shit, we're gonna have to take like 2 days just to read it and get yourself ready, and then start playing.
Oh yeah, because I made a couple Pokemon decks that I got too, because I want to play that with you, because it's real simple, man. In the games, they're not I want to say the average game in Pokemon is only like 10 minutes. Like, it is not that long at all. So I mean, it can go longer, but it's not going to go too long because you only have 60 cards. And like you said, there's different ways you can win, and one of the ways is running out of cards. But me and Remy, we play, because she couldn't read too well, so I had to read some of the abilities and cards, and so it took a little bit longer. We played for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but she had a blast, and I really enjoyed it. So we definitely had to do that as well.
I'll probably say with Yu-Gi-Oh, that's about the same amount too. About 30 minutes, but just depending on what deck, and that's to say what style you can get. I seen one dude, he went first. He's playing against the dude, so he went first. And what his condition was, like, he had one card, and it was like, if it was normal summon, you can draw 2 cards from your hand, and then it was like, it was like, if this card was special summon or special draw, you set that down. Then you sacrifice this. He was going back and forth on like the first turn. And then it was like, you can attack your person directly. And it was like 3 minutes later, he beat the dude who had 0 cards, and it wasn't even his turn yet to draw. So there's stuff like that. And then with Yu-Gi-Oh, like I said, people play 2 out of 3 matches. So if you beat me, after 30 minutes, average of 30 minutes, you beat me the first round, like the basic rules, my life points are 0. We can go again for a rematch with the same deck. Or like I said early when I was talking about it, there's an extra deck. An extra deck is 15 other cards that you can swap out into your main deck. So that way you can give it an edge, or you can use the same one and just keep going. Because hopefully, when you start Yu-Gi-Oh, you got to shuffle your card. You just got to do that probability, them chances of how you do stuff. And there's more to it too. That's what I say. You can add there's some cards where you gotta flip a coin and then you take certain damage. You gotta roll a dice, you gotta do other stuff. You gotta add counters, which are like special materials that you can make from from your home to put on, or token cards or like spare cards that you use to stack up, and this is everywhere. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, we can keep going, but yeah, we already hit past that hour mark, so I already know it's about to get late. So hopefully, what's going on? I might try to see if I can get online and play some Star Wars or Warframe. I'm trying to get online, play some video games. It's summer. Shoot, I'm ready to play. I seen a couple people, they was playing The Last of Us 2.
Mm-mm. Oh, it already came out. I forgot all about that game.
People want to forget about it. It's
you didn't like it. I know you was like, nah. Before it came out,
the leaks. I thought they were, the leaks said they were true, and I tried, I believed like 80% of it, because they said it was true, came from a known source, and they was trying to take down everything, including Sony. But I saw the gameplay. I literally saw like 3 hours of gameplay last night, and walkthrough. Excuse me, 3 hours of walkthroughs, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, that was something. Yeah, so people are like, The Last of Us 2, they was like, that's not canon. I was like, oh, how you gonna do that to a game? But it was that bad, But like I said, you can't ruin a game experience. Some people might like the new changes of how they are doing it. I haven't met anybody that has agreed to the new changes, but it's crazy. It's like The Walking Dead, but the team made it to Sanctuary, and gosh, who? Ah, man, no. See, I can't even make a good analogy because most of the main thing, I can't even make an analogy. Most of the cast of The Walking Dead.
First one yet?
Huh?
I don't say nothing because I ain't beat the first one yet.
Because I won't, because The Walking Dead, there's so many main casts that died and so much twists and turns and dramatic. That was nah, it can't. It won't. Yeah, it won't matter. But yeah, if you ain't played the first one, definitely play the first one because it's so good. So.
Oh, one thing more, Michael, that I forgot that I wanted to add. This game right here. It depending on what size game you're playing, because you can play 500 points, 1,000 points, but the average game is 2,000. I shouldn't say that. The most games that I've seen is 2,000 points, and they usually take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. So that turns a lot of people off because it's a real long game. But you don't have to play that long. Like if you're starting off, I would say a 500-point game, that'll probably be like 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Just so you can build up the understanding of how to play it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. The 2,000-point games are the funnest. And it's a different type of battle too. If you're fighting small little games and stuff like that. But the bigger games are the funnest just because, you have so many different strategies and different stuff going on. Because like small games, when you're having fun, bro.
It don't matter. Right.
You're like, what? 30 minutes, the game's over with. So, but that's the thing. So, that was it. That's what I wanted to add, because when we was talking about how long certain games take, I remembered, and I was like, oh shoot, let me tell people, because some people might not know. They'll be like, oh, I want to get into it. I'm gonna make me a 2,000-point army, and then they go and start trying to play, and they're like, what the heck? What did I get into?
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. These, people always complain. As I said, especially about the biggest three card and battle games, strategy games are what we got here. But I say, once you put your, you enjoy it. Like if you really enjoy it, have a hobby of it, then boom, it's natural. Like I said, I haven't done no tournaments on my end. Obviously, what's been going on, but literally, it's just something to keep me side busy. And I really got motivated now just because it's like I'm about to, I gotta get stuff ready. I gotta move stuff around. And I was like, I can make him a deck right now and just get it done. It took like 30, 40 minutes, but just because you keep it going. That's what I say, an average battle, you do casual with Yu-Gi-Oh, 2 out of 3 matches, you might look at an hour, but time will go by because you read in the strategy and just having fun.
And one more thing, Mike, I forgot. With this game right here, if you're interested in it, I highly suggest you going to dicehead.com, because if you go to Games Workshop, bro, they tax you arm and a leg. You'll be paying full price. But if you get it from dicehead.com, you don't pay taxes.
on it, and you don't pay shipping and handling.
And what would they search on dicehead.com?
You would just go to dicehead.com, and then they only sell, like, let me look real quick, because I have it right here on my thing. Let me look right quick what you do once you click on the main thing. You go to dicehead.com, and then you go to the top, and it just says Age of Sigmar, which is a different Games Workshop game. You got WH40K, that's what you click on. They got some other stuff. They got like Star Wars Legion and stuff like that. But you just click on that WH40K, and
the Warhammer, yeah,
it'll pop up with the different army factions, and you can just look at the different army factions and just see it. But what I was saying is that's the website to go to get stuff from. But my main thing was you have to get 2 books. You have to get the main. You don't have to. I would highly recommend getting them for free online, because if the main rule book is like, I think it's like $45, and then you get the codices, which I got mine from eBay. They're about $34 if you get them from the website. But the new book drops in July, so you don't want, if you're gonna buy the main core book, you don't want to buy it now, because they're about to drop a new one next month. You know what I'm saying? So you might want to wait till July 2020.
Man, but yeah, so that's how you go. If y'all watching, that's how you get the stuff. Man, what's up, Chaos? Chaos Guns? Yeah, I play Corvus Belli Affinity R. What? All right, what's up? Yeah, Chaos Guns. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we was talking about that War from Get stuff. For me, if you want to Yu-Gi-Oh cards, or what you want to just get really basics, I would really say get a structure deck, because like I said, it's kind of it's pre-pack of all your basic cards and what it does. It gives you a little pamphlet. Sometimes they give you like a mat, your little play mats of how you get your cards. I really go to TCG Players, because that's really good for card games, and they give you discounts for different different stores that sell the different cards. You can always go on eBay if you want to buy them cards individually. But with the thing with Yu-Gi-Oh, you're gonna have some cards with like different rarity, like different prints. They'll have like hologram, they'll have different foils, they'll have different stuff, and the price will go up. And like you said, every month there's usually a new every month there's a new selection of cards and new packets and new singles and new stuff. So singles are going to have your basic 8 to 12 little cards and everything else. But TCG Players, and yeah, if you just look up Yu-Gi-Oh and Structure Deck, that's how you get you going and get stuff. You know how you get it done. But, for real, first edition? Nice. So they I ain't got the new one. I ain't got the I know I didn't get the Toon World. I don't think I got the is it the Gates of Eternity? I can't remember, but I know those selections that just came in a couple weeks ago. But you got a website for it. Herbo, we do not. That's something that we're going to work on. And then if you want to know more info about the dogs, you can look at the previous videos. That is not Big Book Bros, but this stuff with the dogs, and you'll see the contact information for Country Rican. So he'll let you know if anything you want for the dogs. This right here, something different. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do too. I'm gonna start collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards as well. Keep it going, cause that's what I like. I got like over 400 cards, and I don't play all of them. I just start collecting them, and that's my hobby. I just want to collect the cards and do casual play. I don't see myself doing tournaments no time soon. It's probably next month, cause some of the stuff I do, I just watch from other YouTubers and people on Twitter that helps me out and just keep it going. But all right, I've been keep saying all right, trying to end it up, trying to get it ended, because we was busting through just talking about all card stuff. So sometime this week, we gonna hop on our game. We'll try to let you know what we're gonna talk about. Actually, I already know I'm gonna do for our 20th episode next Saturday. I think I know what I want to do to keep it grand, get a little grand slam and get everything packed, but. Nah, you good. After this video, Chaos Gun, you'll see everything from the beginning. You'll see everything from the beginning. It's all good. But that's gonna be it for this episode of Big Books Bros. If y'all want to message me, you want to get on the, my chats with every other people, or we just kind of keep it going and keep communicate, you can always look me up on Instagram and Twitter at Big Book Bros. I also have another side channel that I'm about to set up so we can organize our stuff. If you want to contact 502-287-9545. And I hope everybody has a great day, and we out.